Mike Tannenbaum, who's on ESPN right now, and he's also used to be the general manager of the Jets, said that, Brad Holmes might be the best drafter and might be elite in that category. I think Brad Holmes has been here, I think it's what's been 4 seasons now. First season, they won like a couple games. Second season, they won like 8 games. Third season, they went to the NFC Championship. They won 15-2. So, yeah. This would be his 5th draft, and he says that, when you add 3 or 4 meaningful contributing players in a draft in 3 or 4 year period, all right, almost 1 per year, you have a cost-effective roster, and, that's the measure. That's how you measure success. He also said that they get caught up in what round and in the value of a player. Don't draft a running back. That's pretty much what he was hitting at about Jahmyr Gibbs here, or don't do this here. But he says the general rule of thumb is to find at least, over 3 or 4 year period. If you add in 3 or 4, you mean at least one meaningful player at each draft is what he's saying, And he says no one has done it better than Brad Holmes. And that's facts. And that's why Brad Holmes don't feel like he needs to go outside of the draft and sign free agents. That's why he feels that way, because once you look at his just look at the draft with Laporta and Branch and those guys, right? Like I believe you can make a case in 4 straight picks. I don't remember who else went after them. Gibbs, impactful, building block. Not Laporta, it was Jack Campbell. I mean, he stepped up in a major way. He was the only linebacker that was, first or second string. And we know it takes middle linebackers around 2 or 3 years to get their feet wet. He's the only one that stayed healthy and consistent. Real talk. He held it down. Brian Branch, make a case as one of the best safeties in the league. And Sam Laporta, he started off this year slow because he had an injury, but he got rolling. So when you think about that, I don't know who went after them. You think about it, that's 4 straight picks of impactfulness in the team in one draft. He did that in one draft. They hoping you do that. What Tannenbaum was saying, you want to have a 3 or 4 year period. On average, you want at least one impactful player per draft. That's the average. He didn't say that, but for the most part, he did. That's the average that you're looking for. And he did that in one draft, but the averages are the averages. If you can, on average, if you find your 4 or 5 best players in a 3 or 4 or 5 year period in one draft, it's, and that's all you find in 3 or 4 year period, you find some eye and some bust, it doesn't matter. That's the average, but he's been doing it over a course of time. I mean, Penei Sewell, I think that was his first draft. Who else you had? Kirby Joseph, one of the, if not the best safety in football. Did you know Terrion Arnold only allowed 2 touchdowns last year? And it's to me, and I don't speak on him for a minute, man. I might do a video on him, right? What's so crazy is everybody remembers you for how you start. That's what people remember, into something. Everybody remember you that way. Oh, you get pass interference. And a lot of those pass interferences, from a football guy, I didn't agree with. Because in some of the situations when you face guard, they subjective call. They choose when and when not to call that call. So he's really had a great year, but people just, he had to pass. It's a different game. In college, you can be physical, but in reality, he only averaged he only gave up 2 touchdowns, I heard. And when you look at it from that standpoint of view, only giving up 2 touchdowns, at down the stretch, when the Carlton Davis missed the last 4 regular seasons, he's the number 1 corner. He's the number 1 corner. And everybody look at Quinyon Mitchell, and I love Quinyon Mitchell. I preferred him, no disrespect. But look who he playing with. One of, the best defensive line, and look who Terrion was playing in front of. Bunch of injured motherfuckers. So, but yeah, man, he's done a great job. And some of the guys that they was expecting to really build their D-line on, they just ain't been healthy. Pascal, he finally was healthy last year. Nobody expected him to come in and be and be the power, to be a superstar, but he's solid. Arms Enrique finally got his first year under his belt, legit first year. And for the most part, he played out of position. They had him playing defensive end the whole time. He didn't really, and for a lot of the time, he didn't really get to just be a defensive tackle. So, Jamison Williams bubbled this year. He had a big year. St. Brown, we didn't even talk about him. He had he's argument to be the best player on the team. So these are all guys that he's drafted in the 3 or 4 year period. Because we ain't got to the 5th year. Just think about guys that he's drafted, just thinking about the roster. Sam Laporta, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Jamison Williams. You know what I'm saying? Jahmyr Gibbs. Aiden Hutchinson. We didn't even talk about Aiden. I'm forgetting that he drafted Aiden Hutchinson. He may be you can stake a claim when he's healthy. He was the best player last year when balling. Brian Branch, Kirby Joseph. Terrion Arnold is damn good, like it or not. Jack Campbell, Derek Barnes, Malcolm Rodrigo, a.k.a. Michael Rodriguez. So across the board, look at what he done. Signing that kicker from the Detroit team. This pretty Jake Bates. I know he in the draft, but most of the team that he's picked, that is the foundation of the team. Penei Sewell, Christian Mahogany. They let Kevin Zeifer go if you ain't get the memo, because Mahogany was rated Pro Football Focus. He was rated their best player. He was rated their best player. So, he's done a hell of a fine job. And if some of these guys, these guys, developmental guys that they drafted, like Vaki and Manu and Corey Sorsdale, started to really bubble, he's going to be even look more like a genius. So, he ain't really drafting for an impact right now. He's willing to play the long game. Jamison Williams, Josh Pascal, Levon Enrique. He's willing to play that long game. So, it gets no more elite than that for a GM in a draft. It gets no more elite than that. Find an impact. He found the 4 impact players in one draft. And them the ones I can just think of. And in straight picks. That was a straight lottery play. Gibbs. Moved down to get him. Campbell. Well, Braylon Edwards was hating on him. But, Laporta and Branch. 4 straight. You need to find a gem in the draft, late in the draft, middle of the draft. He fought Amon-Ra St. Brown. Need somebody to trade up to go get. He traded up and got Jamison Williams. It's starting to pay off. Another gem in the draft, Kirby Joseph. I was beating it on the desk for Jaquan Brisker, Kirby Joseph. He knew what he was doing. So, and he also said we just got to wait and see on Arnold in his rack straw. We'll see. Arnold is good. They just be hating. But hey, check out Detroit Lions Talk playlist. Hit the link tree. Find me on X, Instagram, Spotify, Anchor, Cash App, Venmo, PayPal. You can find the link to the link tree in the description. Find me everywhere. Appreciate the love, support. Check out Detroit Lions Talk playlist. Peace.